Hi, I'm Nikki from Teaching Autism and welcome to the Autism and Special Education Community Podcast. Are you an autism or special education professional? Are you a teacher or therapist looking for support and new ideas? You may even be a parent, family member or carer. This podcast is perfect to help you find out more information, support and get some of your questions answered. Hi, and welcome back to another episode on my Teaching Autism and Special Education Community Podcast. Today on the podcast, I am sharing some of my very best tips for what you should be wearing in the classroom as a teacher or as an assistant or therapist. These are tips that I have learned over the years, and some have been learned the hard way for sure. So let's dive in and talk all things clothing and accessories. Before we start, remember that you should always refer to the guidelines for your uniform for your individual school as well, because everyone will have things that differ a little bit to each other. Anyway, first up, remember that you are dressing to be practical. This is not a fashion shoot. Don't look at those models on magazine covers who are dressed up perfectly for work. It's just not realistic for us working in schools, especially in special education. Go for flats over heels every time and make sure to break shoes in before you wear them to work. You want to be comfy and you're most likely going to be on your feet for the majority of the day. The last thing you want are shoes that aren't broken in, are rubbing, and even worse, blisters. Even when it's boiling hot in the summer, try and go for closed-toe shoes. So I've seen a few nasty incidents over the years where people have been wearing open-toe sandals, and not always done on purpose either. There are so many obstacles in the classroom and accidents that are so easy to happen. For example, it's easy for a chair to accidentally be placed on your foot or for a student to stand on it. And not to mention, if you are dealing with some challenging and physical behaviours, the last thing you want is a pair of sandals with your toes on show. Another tip for your footwear is to make sure you can run in it. And I mean really run in it. You never know what behaviours you may have with your students. And if you have a student who elopes, you are going to want to be quick on your feet. So remember, practical. Always remember practical. We'll work our way up the body. So next we'll go with what to wear on your bottom half. So skirts have been a no-no for me for quite some time. I have seen members of staff have many unfortunate experiences with skirts being blown up, pulled down, and so on. And I've seen many members of staff end up feeling very embarrassed when their underwear ends up on show. If you really want to wear skirts, go for leggings underneath just to protect your modesty a little bit, just in case anything happens. And also, going back to what we talked about with the footwear, remember to be practical. You don't want to be in a high-waisted, tight-fitting skirt all day that you can barely breathe in, never mind move around in. We spend a lot of our time on the floor, sitting in smaller chairs if we're with younger children, outside. You want to be comfortable as well. Trousers are great, especially in warmer weather. So you can get a whole range of different styles of trousers, different thicknesses. But I've always gone for dark colours no matter what style I go for. So either black or navy. With our job, this usually results in us getting messy almost every day. And the last thing that I want to be worrying about is how messy my uniform looks. But when you wear darker colours, you don't really notice things as much as you would if they were lighter. And you can get some really great affordable trousers that last for years as well. Moving on to leggings. Please don't wear leggings without a long top or dress. The amount of times I have seen people in leggings and I can see their underwear because they've worn them with just a t-shirt or something short. Just know, unless you're wearing proper gym leggings or thick leggings where your modesty is in full tact, please just avoid doing this. Nobody wants to be sitting staring at your underwear. And talking of gym leggings, these are great if you have a really active class and students who like to be on the go. They're stretchy, they're easy for you to move around in, They're thick, so they keep your modesty, and you can get some really smart looking ones as well. There's also jeans. Now, I've never been anywhere that you can wear your normal everyday jeans, but black, almost jegging style jeans that look smart and professional without any rips or designs on them, these have always been okay, and these have been my go-to, especially in the winter months and colder weather. They're thicker and they work great if you have students who are prone to biting as well, because it just feels like you have that little bit extra layer of protection. Plus, I've always found them so easy to move around in. They're stretchy, they're comfortable to sit on the floor in. I feel like they're durable as well, and they used to last me years. If they started to fade, I would just dye them black again. Moving up again to the top half of our body. Now, I'll actually start with dresses here. So you can get some really great day dresses that do look professional and are practical as well. And a lot of us do feel comfier in dresses than wearing tops and trousers. Just remember, wear some leggings with them. Remember my warning about the skirt incidents. Nobody wants to be sharing their underwear with everyone. I'm all about being close with your team, but you don't want to be that close to them. Also, try to go for ones with thicker sleeves and not too low cut. Remember, you may have students who are hands-on and like to pull at you, take part in harmless fun, and the last thing you want is a dress pulling too far down. T-shirts and jumpers are great to have on hand because they go with pretty much anything and everything, and you can get some really great price ones for cheap, especially if they're plain. I've always liked to go for plain colour t-shirts and jumpers, and then I just dress them up with cardigans or scarves. Cardigans are a lifesaver. You can put them on if you're cold, take them off if you're too warm, but they're usually just the perfect thickness to keep you at the right temperature with your outfit. They also really look like they set an outfit off and make it look that little bit more professional. And if you follow me on Instagram, you'll know how much I love a scarf. I actually have an IGTV video over on my Instagram talking about outfits, including why I love to wear scarves. And basically, it's just because you can use them in so many ways. I love them because they keep me warm, especially when sometimes I can find myself outside without really planning to be outside. And you can also get some really stylish ones to smarten up a plain outfit. You can use them to cover your mouth and your nose. This is especially great if, like me, you have a weak stomach. I just love adding a scarf to an outfit. Next up is those adorable lanyards that I see everyone wearing, and there are some adorable teacher ones and they look fantastic. My only piece of advice is just be sure that you're not using anything too small, because if it breaks, you may have students who want to put them in their mouth, so you don't want to risk that happening. Also, make sure that you get a lanyard with a break fast at the back. So that means when a student takes hold of the lanyard and they pull it, it breaks away from your neck. Otherwise, if you have a child or a student who may be a little bit more hands-on and physical, the last thing you want is for them to be able to pull your face straight towards them. Now, moving up the body, next up is hair. Now, hair is a tough one because so many people I speak to always say about putting your hair up. Now, over the years, I've had a lot of students who enjoy pulling hair, and sometimes in an aggressive and challenging way, and other times just because they like hair and they're playing with it and those sort of things. So I've worn my hair in a ponytail and I've worn it down, and I've had it pulled in both situations. I've got to say, the better experience, if you can call it that, was when my hair was actually straightened and down. We were able to free my hair from their grip easier. When my hair was up in a ponytail, the student got their fingers tangled in everything because they just kept twisting and twirling their fingers and hand. And I had that bobble pulling my hair back. It was just a nightmare. But you might find that having your hair up works better for you, and that's okay too. On days that I wear my hair down, I just take a bobble with me so that I can put it up quickly into a ponytail if I need to. This is especially great if you have days with PE, swimming or cooking, or maybe messy activities as well. And finally, jewellery. So this one can be quite a hot topic because everyone sort of has different views on it. I always stand by one rule, and that is if it's sentimental to me, it doesn't go into school with me. Schools are such busy places, and the last thing you want is to be panicking about a piece of jewellery that means a lot to you. It is so easy for someone to catch a bracelet or a necklace, and unfortunately these things can break. They're not indestructible. You may be dealing with challenging behaviours and you may take a piece of jewellery off and then it goes missing. There's just honestly no need to be adding that extra stress to yourself by wearing anything sentimental. Also, think about it from a health and safety point of view. I die a little inside when I visit schools and I see teachers wearing big hoop earrings hanging from their ears. You won't believe the pain that is going to cause if they get ripped out of their ears. And it's not always done on purpose either. Sure, our students can get challenging and aggressive at times, but they're also really curious. They may not know how gentle they need to be when they're looking at your hoop earrings, and the last thing you want is a hoop earring being ripped down your earlobe. And that goes with a lot of piercings, to be honest. So I never wore my earrings to school, just out of principle, because I used to get the heebie-jeebies when I thought about my earrings being ripped out of my ears. And I know a lot of other staff as well who would take out their piercings, like nose rings, earrings, belly button piercings, just anything really that was loose to wear to school because they just didn't want to tempt fate. Bracelets are another one to be careful of, and rings. Rings especially if you may be using de-escalation techniques like restraint or hands-on activities for students. Rings can be quite sharp and it's easy to accidentally cut or leave a mark on someone who's wearing a ring. Rings can actually be quite sharp and it's really easy to accidentally cut or leave a mark on someone when you're wearing a ring. And this goes for fake nails too. So you know those long nails that a lot of people love to have because that seems to be the in thing, or the ones that are shaped to a point? Just remember you work in a classroom with students, and especially if you're with young students and you're going to be hands-on with them, maybe you're helping them go to the toilet and little things like that, those nails can actually be really harmful. Anyway, those are my best tips for what to wear in the classroom. If you have any other tips to share, be sure to head over to our show notes and let us know. I love hearing about outfits that work for you to give everyone else inspiration as well. If you have a spare few minutes, I would really appreciate you heading over to this podcast and leaving a review on iTunes, Spotify, or whatever platform you are listening on. This helps me ensure that I am providing you all with the best episodes and information as possible. Thank you for listening, and I'll speak to you again soon.